Zombienights. It is something special that is really difficult to understand if you were never there. In this video I'm going to show you the last zombie night that we did in the shelter, and I will explain you how we came up with the concept, how we tried to trick the people in their own minds and make them as uncomfortable as possible.
Goedenavond. Goedenavond. Goedenavond iedereen.
But before we can start with the event itself, we have to go back a few months. Like you saw the teaser in the beginning of the video, that is something that was released to get the attention of the players that already went to some of the zombie nights, because there's always some kind of a storyline going through the different zombie nights. So if you went to a few of them, you could follow that storyline, and if you're a new player, you can jump right in. And to go back, Greed Incorporated was used a few times as the really bad guy during the zombie nights.
Yes. Me too.
And besides the teaser videos that were announced on YouTube and Facebook, there were also news articles that were released during the months before the game. And every video or every news article gives a small clue about what they might expect. And this was the next one.
Log 527, 26 augustus 2018. De toestand die wordt alsmaar erger. Zoals ik een paar dagen geleden al vermoedde, is sinds de aankomst van Greed alles in een spiraal van geweld en bedrog terechtgekomen. En ik vertrouw die fuckers voor geen haar. Ze zijn tot de tanden gewapend en ze deinzen voor niks terug om te krijgen wat ze willen. Ze beginnen een schrikbewind uit te voeren en mensen worden bang hier. En gisteren nog zag ik ze Victor, een klein...
So we start prepping for Zombie Nights around 6 months before the game itself. I start working on the scenario, which is kind of a book when I'm done with it, and that contains the whole storyline, everything that will happen, and things that we can do to make it the player as hard as possible. And when it was time to buy the ticket, people were able to buy the tickets online, and after the ticket was confirmed, they got a nice letter in their mail at home. This was pretty funny because some people didn't open it themselves, but relatives opened the letter for them, and I can tell you the letter was not what you expect from an Airsoft game. And this brings us to the game itself. You had two teams. There was a red team and a blue team. That makes it pretty easy, right? Well, you should think. So basically it's really simple. There are 21 people selected to start treatment for the cure against the Narva virus that is circling around the world, and those 21 people are invited to go to the test center to test that new cure for the Narva virus. And what I try to do during the game is I try to break down the patterns as much as possible. So people expect something and then we break it down, they expect something new, we break it down again, they expect something again, and then we go back to the first thing, and during the night that changes quite a few times. Like we start with two teams, well they think they start with two teams because there is a blue team and a red team, and there are 11 people on each team itself. Now we start doing that because then people think, oh, we have to play in two different teams, we got a red team and a blue team, and we have to play against each other. And then we start off with bringing those people together and mixing them together, so red with blue and blue with red, so they don't know what's going on anymore. After that, we break them up again by doing something weird, and I will come to that in the video itself, but it's just so you understand what is going on. And after that, we bring them back together again to fight to a common enemy, and then we try to break them up again. And besides the team event and everything that is going on in the team, there is also the personal touch that we try to create with the player itself. We try to take players out of the game, we try to give them small little missions against their team or in favor of their team, and all the different things that are changing within the team is just a mindfuck for the players itself, and that makes it a lot of fun for us. And the first part of the game is explaining why the people are there. So they are now being talked to by a doctor that is wearing a body cam, so we can use the footage for what I'm doing right now. He's explaining what is going on and what will happen in the near future. He's basically telling them that they are test subjects for the new cure that is coming out for the new virus, and they will be escorted to the hospital where they can start the treatment. And we tried to do a really good job on creating a hospital vibe. We had actors, we had security cams that will come in a little bit, and we had nurses taking care of the people, and we also had some undercover people that would spice the things up a little bit more for the players. There were also some beeping sounds, so you got a really good vibe of a hospital thingy going on.
Het is direct dan aan jullie om een onderzoek te krijgen.
Oei, wacht. Kun je nog iets herhalen? Bend over.
Eén rijtje schoon aanschuiven, ik ga direct doorwijzen naar de verpleegsters.
At this point you can see that the blue team and the red team are still hanging together because the people are coming in blue first and then red, and we didn't tell them, it's just they are thinking that they have to do that. And the advantage of having all the people in one room is that we can still move around pieces around them and make things ready while they are getting into their mindset of the game.
Hier, ligt je comfortabel.
Ja, dank je dokter.
Nergens geen...
Iets meer.
Nee,
Dokter, kunt u even meekomen?
zeker. Alles in orde hier?
Ja.
Nergens last van hoofdpijn, darmklachten?
De voorbije dagen, ja.
Zit er bloed in de stoel dan?
Nee.
Nee, oké, dat is geen probleem.
Het blijft maar gewoon rustig liggen. Je ziet dat er hier veel mensen liggen, ze liggen allemaal rustig. Hè?
Ja, maar
Heeft meneer klachten?
vastgebonden ligt misschien.
Dat is misschien omdat het niet zo rustig werd daarnet. Hè?
Rustig. Ik ga even uw reflexen testen. Goed?
Ja, dat vlak wel hè.
Nee, rustig. Blijf goed kijken naar mij, blijf kijken naar mij.
Yes, that one dude was one of ours. And we tried to create an atmosphere that something is going on and something is building up, and he's asking questions and other people don't really recognize him, so they might have a suspicion that it's one of ours, but they can never be sure. They are constantly trying to get the puzzle right because this night is one big puzzle game for them. They have to find the exit in one crazy world.
Niks, rustig.
Dat is gewoon dat je niet zo goed bent. Maar dat is normaal.
Alles in orde hier.
And then the fun can begin. Well, the fun for us. You might have seen on camera 4 that there is a special wall built behind that security guard, and that our guy is really close to that entrance. The next thing that will follow is chaos, but I will go over it in a little bit. Just enjoy the chaos that everything brings.
Welke schoen zeg?
Secondje. Surfje. Ja. Blijven. Nee, kom op! Go! Doorlopen! Go! Volga! Sneller! Actief! Go!
Iedereen rustig blijven, probeer allemaal rustig te blijven. Jokke?
Ja.
Kom maar hier.
Nee, aan de kant.
Jezus!
Alright, let's go back a little bit and explain what is going on. I told you about the wall, well that got breached by zombies. And while that got breached by zombies, the light went down and we started using flashlights, strobos to get the people out. We created a chaos that people needed to evacuate as soon as possible and introducing them to a third party, like I told you, Greed Incorporated. By pushing them all together in one room, like there were 21 people plus our extras, pushing to a small room, that creates a small bonding moment because you need to get out and it doesn't really matter what team color you are. So at that point, people forget what team color they are. You give them a small breather when they are in the room because nobody knows what is going on. They have never been in this part of the shelter yet, so nobody actually know where they are. And then you start creating more chaos. One of our extras had a bottle with, I think it was cat food mixed with water, and sprayed that in a dark room, pretending that she was vomiting because she was getting sick. And because Greed didn't want any sick people in their infrastructure, they removed everybody again. And then you had a whole moment of blown up chaos, and then they are dropped into the shelter that is all quiet, all black. And the only person that had a light was our doctor.
Oké, jongens. Naar de church. Volgen. Als corbine.
Once they found a safe space to create some kind of a base to protect themselves from the zombies, because yeah, there are still zombies around there, not that many, but enough to keep them on their toes. And the people are sent out into the shelter to find the right ingredients to create the vaccine to make them safe against the zombies.
Goed, jongens.
During their search, they find a few cases that were dropped by the military, and that provides them a little bit of light. Now they also have to calculate how much light they have because they are using those small candles, and they have to calculate how many hours of light they have, how many people they have, and how they're going to split up in groups to have some light in every group for the whole evening.
Dus hoeveel kaarsen hebben we? 20, hè? 20, ja, 21.
Dat is voor iedereen één of wat?
Dus vanaf dat die uit zijn, houdt ze pas vervangen.
Also notice how the red team and the blue team is working together to solve the puzzle.
Of 1 per 3 zou ik eerder zeggen, eerlijk gezegd. 1 per 3. Ja, we moeten wel rekenen, als we geen licht vinden, is dat onze enige lichtbron heel naald. Dus teams van 4.
Er zijn daar lampjes.
Teams van 4 misschien zelf,
Er komen daar lampjes af.
Ja, maar dat is niet.
Oké, we weten niet wat dat is. We weten niet wat het is, maar
Bekijk het maar.
Wat dat je?
Oh, ver bij de fles.
Oké, er is er nog 1 object minder, hè.
Dat niets opzeggen?
Dat is water.
Ja, kun je mij meepakken, hè. Nee.
Dit is gewoon besmet water, testsample voor de algen.
Ah ja. Goed.
Dus je brengt eigenlijk het virus mee naar hier.
Zalig, maar het is toe, hè.
In some cases, the people are bringing the weirdest things, that are part of the story. And then it's up to our people to give it a twist to make it as fun as possible for the players. And here they brought in a bottle of water that has nothing to do with the whole game itself. And the crew told him that it was a virus and they needed to get rid of it. And the fun thing is that everything actually can be something from the scenario. They just have to find the right objects.
Yes, ik ga dat zakje bijhouden. Ja, dank u. Yes, dank u. Dank u.
Once they found all the ingredients to create the cure, it was time to break up the teams again. And the doctor gave it to the red team. And the idea was that the blue team was going to get their vaccine immediately after that, but Greed found out. And right at the moment when they were going to inject the blue team with the vaccine, the Greed came into the big room and put everybody against the wall. Yeah, just let's find out what happened.
Wat is de bedoeling van al die mensen hier samen?
Ze zijn opgeroepen door het European Center of Disease Control om het vaccin te nemen die extra antilichaam aanmaakt tegen het narvavirus voor iedereen te kunnen syntheseren en te vaccineren.
Oké, en wat is de bedoeling van dat rood gedoe hier?
Dat is het vloeibaar vaccin die het lichaam klaarmaakt voor de antilichaam.
En jij zegt dus dat je er bijna bent?
Ik ben er zeker van.
Jij zit er zeker van. Heb jij hier op een van die puiten hier al ingespoten?
De rode.
De rode. Ça va. De dokter zegt dat hij blijkbaar ingespoten zijn met een of ander vaccintoestanden. Ik wil die apart houden. Uw uitleg, heel raar. Jij zegt dus dat je een vaccin hebt tegen dat ding wat de mensen hier in zombies verandert.
Ja.
Ik heb de munitie gevonden. Wat maar zien. Ja. Wij gaan zullen trekken. De eerste die voor de rest beweegt, die gaat eraan. Begrepen? Dokter.
Ja?
Denk jij dat je nog zoiets kunt maken?
Ik kan dat, ja. Godverdomme klatzak!
Dat is zo. Hou open. De eerste die nog probeert. Blijf staan, hè. De eerste die nog probeert van de vaccin, dan kom ik in persoonlijk kijken. Begrepen? Begrepen? Ik hoor het niet. En een dokter, vergeet die maar.
Alright, let's pause it here for a few seconds. So what was going on? The red team and the blue team were both working together to get the vaccine ready from the doctor, and when the doctor injected the red team, Greed found out and they burst into the room and they put everybody against the wall and they started a conversation with the doctor to find out if he could make the vaccine again. Why? Because Greed doesn't want anybody interfering with what they're doing. They're making really good money and they're working on their own product. More about that a little bit later. So when they found out that there was a cure, they needed to get rid of it. So they take every red player with them to their nest again to check out what was going on, and they kill the doctor. Now that leaves the blue team all alone with nothing to do anymore. They don't know what's going on anymore. The only source that they had is dead, and half of their friends is gone. They lost almost every light that they had, and suddenly, out of nowhere, a crazy guy appeared. But one thing that the players did really well that was not scripted is they went to the doctor and searched every pocket to find everything that they could use during their survival in the game. And while the blue team is trying to find out what they have to do, the red team has been brought back to Greed. And now we can say that the teams are split again, and you can see the confusing on a lot of the faces. And this confusion is going on the whole evening. People are being brought in back to Greed, they have to do riddles for the crazy guy, they are switching, they are being split up again, they are brought back together again, and that creates a whole weird evening for the players. Now I don't have that much footage anymore from the players itself because yeah, the body cam doctor is dead, but I still have a few videos that are really interesting to show you what was going on with the players itself.
Kom op, zwagen! Allemaal tegen de muur!
Oh nee, niet weer deze kant.
The first thing that was going on through the whole evening, people were getting picked out of the game and they had to do a questionnaire for Greed itself. And then they were brought in back to Greed to talk about the answers that they gave about all the questions. And I can tell you the questionnaire was a really long list of questions that had nothing to do with the game, but at that time they didn't know that. And after they were asked some questions, they were put back in the hole and then released back into the shelter to find their team again, or their people again. The other thing is that was more at the end of the game. I told you that Greed was working on their own medicine and we can watch together if the pills are working or not. An evening like this can only be done with an amazing team of people. A good storyline is important, but the players and the crew have to commit to making this an amazing evening. And this is what happened here. We had some good zombie nights, we had some bad zombie nights, but this one was amazing. The vibe that was going on the whole evening was just spot on. And that's one of the reasons why I love making those games. You meet awesome people during an amazing evening, doing awesome stuff. And for you, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on one of the next Zombie Nights.